Okay, so this is going to be a review of the Fikwot SSD. It's 128 gigabytes. I think it's 128. Yeah, 128 gigabytes SSD. And I'm going to do some full on-screen testing so you can see exactly how fast it actually is. But I'm going to just start by saying, if you haven't shopped around, shop around for SSDs. Because Fikwot is not a brand name that I've ever heard of. But you can get a crucial BX 500, twice the size, 240 gigabytes for £16.34 at the minute. So this is really going to have to go some, and it's only a SATA SSD. I mean, it's a 2.5-inch SSD, so I don't know how much more it can go. We'll see if it's got a DRAM and things like that, but yeah, it's going to be a challenge for it to match up to that kind of value proposition, but I'm going to be as fair as I possibly can to it. Okay, well, this is it. If you're unfamiliar with 2.5-inch SSDs, they've got a SATA or SATA connection here that will go directly to your motherboard. That's the data connection there. And then this is your power connection that'll provide it with power. These are mounting screws in case you want to mount it on something like that. These are mounting screws, and on the other side, in case you want to mount it on something like that. Okay, now let's get testing. You'll be presented with something like this, where you'll need to right click on it and start a new simple volume. Okay, this is the drive that you just had. You'll notice I've got lots of drives in here. These ones are all allocated. They've all got partitions and things. This unallocated one is the one you need to start. Just click through next, next, assign it a drive letter, choose whatever you want. I'd stay away from A and B because they tend to be reserved for other things, but something else, let's call it T. There we go. Give it a name if you want to. I'm just going to keep it as new volume just for now. And finish. It'll format it, and then it's ready. And once it's all done, you should then have something like this. There you go. And if you're not familiar with how to initialize a disk like this, obviously if it's your boot drive, then this will be different. But if you're just installing it as an additional drive in Windows, you'll have to go onto right click on your start menu and select disk management, or open your start menu and select disk management. It'll be different in other operating systems, but once you start disk management, you'll get the option to initialize the disk, and that's really, really important. And you'll want the GPT partition style. The MBR one is a very old one, so you don't need that. You want GPT. Okay, so initialize that. Then okay, and these are the benchmark scores that I got from this drive. Full disclosure, I'm running it in an enclosure, and a USB 3 enclosure, so these are very slightly down on what you might expect if it was plugged down directly into the motherboard. Not a huge amount down, to be perfectly honest, and the difference between random reads and sequential reads is going to be in the same kind of proportions, so you've got that idea. You know what, performance-wise, it's fine. It's fine for a cheap SSD. The big problem you've got is that it costs £20, and for that kind of money you can get a Crucial BX 500, which is DRAMless, or I would recommend going a couple of quid more and getting an MX 500, a Crucial MX 500, which is about £26 at the minute on Amazon, twice the size, 250, and it'll give you better performance, and it's from a recognized brand. But if this one goes down in price and this one's really cheap, it works. It does the job. I haven't got any problems with it, so I can't complain about it. I'm just going to say that you need to shop around if you want to get an SSD like this.
and that's the BBC News at 10. There is more analysis of the day's main stories over on Newsnight, which is getting underway with Victoria Derbyshire on BBC Two, and the news continues here on BBC One with our colleagues across the nations and regions for the news wherever you are. From us tonight.
There's good news for 3 London hospitals today. After years of waiting, a promise from government that they will be rebuilt. But, and there is a but,